Hello guys and welcome to another video. Welcome to the top of my shelf. I think this is the only video I have ever filmed standing up with a tripod. I feel so professional, like anything could happen right now. This video is going to be one of a kind, at least for now, because I have never taken you guys with me to a book signing. Although book signings are quite a frequent thing, and I imagine a lot of you guys have been to them, I don't typically go to them because I like a lot of American authors who don't typically come to Madrid, okay? So it's a hard life being a fan living outside the United States. But tomorrow, everything changes. Yeah, that was me from 2 days ago before I realized that everything is shit and the world is meaningless. Which of course means that this video just went from a vlog to a story time. Strap in, get some calming tea, and let's talk about this. So the book signing actually starts tomorrow at noon, but since I'm going to sleep over at my friend's house, I have to leave everything prepared right now. And I'm actually gonna be late to her house, so let's wrap this up quickly. The app for the signing said that I can bring as many books to sign as I want, and I think I'm gonna do just that. Also, they said that for the first people that get there, while supplies last, they're gonna be giving out goodies. So my initial plan here is to get there an hour before because I don't know how many people are gonna be there and how many people are gonna be in line. So I'm gonna get there early and I wanna get those goodies, and hopefully, if I do, I can show them to you guys. But for now, I'll show you the books that I'm going to get signed. This is what I plan on showing up with. It feels like a good amount, right? Just 6 books. My original plan was to get all of my editions signed, so I think this is a pretty good self-control on my part. I'm actually gonna be late to my friend's house, so I'll see you guys tomorrow. Everything started out fine. It was great. I went to my friend's house, we had a cheese board, we prepared it together, we ate it together, and of course we went to bed really late, which means that by the time I woke up at 9 in the morning the next day, my friend who suggested that she might come with me to the event said that no, she couldn't because she had been working all week and she was dead tired. So it was up to me to go by myself to the park and get the book signed. Stay tuned to find out if I actually got my book signed, because this was a roller coaster of emotions and not good ones. So I got ready, I kissed my friends goodbye and marched on over by my lonesome to the subway station. And of course the first thing I see is, the metro. Leaving. That was a literal warning from the heavens of what the rest of the day was going to be like, but I decided to pay it no mind, to take out my ebook and finish the rest of Howl's Moving Castle. So my commute consisted of taking the metro to go to one spot, then changing into another one to go to another spot, then changing again to go to another spot, and finally reached the park in Retiro. It was supposed to take me 57 minutes. Of course, it took me an hour and 20 minutes to get there. So I was planning on getting there at 11. I got there at 11:15. I ran all the way to where I knew the fair was and I started looking for it. And I was like, in the map, it says it's here. Wait a minute, let me look at these numbers on these stalls. Well, it turns out for some reason someone thought that the map should be upside down. I guess they were looking at it from the other direction, but truly they should have been looking at it from the direction of the subway exit, because everyone was going to be there, like coming out of the subway, like I was, okay? So of course the place is exactly at the other point of the park. So I march on over there. It's 23 degrees, which isn't that hot, but I had just put sunscreen on my arms because I burn. So I pass a couple of lines. I'm like, whoa, I'm really glad those aren't my lines because there's a lot of people in those lines. So I keep walking. I'm like, whoa, this is really at the other end of this, huh? Great, but I'm lucky those aren't my lines. And then I spot it. I'm like, oh, La Rosaleda, that's where I'm supposed to be. And I can see this like poster for Marissa Meyer, and I'm like, whoa, woohoo, I got there. And then I see the start of the line, and I'm like, okay, so the free goodies are probably for the 50 or 100 people who get there at the beginning. I'll probably be amongst them. So I keep walking. The line is still going, huh? And I keep walking and I keep seeing people. I'm like, okay, this is still curving, so I don't know where this is gonna end. But I keep walking and I keep sweating and I keep crying on the inside, being like, holy shit, this is gonna be my whole day by my lonesome. And finally, after like a 5-minute march, I get to the end of the line. How far away was I? Well, to put it simply, very. I could see where she would be signing, but it was very, very small, and I could just like make it out through the trees and through the huge line that was there. Everyone looked like they had been there for an hour, and honestly, I wanted to get there half an hour earlier. That would have made such a big difference. But no, the freaking public transport made me half an hour late, and then for some reason the map was upside down. Okay, so 11:30, I'm there. I'm like, okay, this is fine. It starts at 12. That's fine. I have half an hour to start another book. I don't know. So I take out Happy Place and I start reading it, and it's kind of boring, so I start answering YouTube comments. So then it's 10 to 12 and the line starts moving. So I'm like, oh, that's so nice. She started 10 minutes early. I'm glad. Great. Time goes by, half an hour goes by, an hour goes by. Every time we stop, I just sit on the grass, hope for a cloud to come on the sky and block the sun for me, and it happened. So it wasn't so bad, and it was a nice park. So I could people watch, and people watch I did. That first hour was a blast. Everything went quickly downhill after that. So 2 hours go by, and it's been a while, you know, like half of the event is already over. I'm like, well, I'm still not halfway there. What is happening? Why is it going so slowly? Because it seemed like every time it just kept going slower. So halfway there, they come and they ask us what our names is. They write them on a post-it so that we can put it on the book that we want personalized. So Marissa Meyer, who is not Spanish, spells her name correctly, and so things can move on more smoothly because she doesn't have to ask us to spell our names, which is great because last time I told someone my name, they spelled it with an S and a Y while I was in London, and then having spelled it correctly, someone else came, looked at my name, and said Cecilia. So I was not going through that again. We can almost see her now. So she's there in a little box, signing all day. I'm like, okay, at least I can see you. I can keep my eyes on you. And then 2 comes around, or almost 2 comes around. I'm like, well, there's still like 100 people in front of me. I don't know what's gonna happen. So by 2, the 2 girls behind me are being so annoying. They're like, oh my god, we're not gonna make it. What about, we've been here for like more than 2 hours, 2.5 hours already. She's not gonna sign it for us. Oh my god. I'm like, shut up. You're giving me anxiety. I have already read 50 pages of this new book. I am not in the headspace to like it, so I put it down. My water was down to this. I hadn't peed in a while. In all of this, my sister should have been there with me, but she took a trip.
Visit her boyfriend for his birthday and their anniversary instead of coming with me.
And dying in the heat with me to get her book signed. Like, rude. Yeah, you can roast her down in the comments below. So we're there, we're cool, we're approaching the line. I can basically see Marissa Meyer by this point. Do you remember at what time this ends? This ends at 2:30. But she's still signing, and rumor is down the line that she's gonna sign until 3. So I cross my fingers and I pray to every single god I know of, please let her stay signing until I get there. So remember the post-it people who gave this to us and wrote our names before? Well, they come and they're like, we're gonna have to cut the line and give you guys a ticket so you can come in the afternoon and have your book signed then, so that all of you have priority over the people who come later in the afternoon. Which objectively I understand is the best solution, because the booth needed to close at 3 because every single booth closed at 3 because that's the time everyone goes to eat, and I think until 5 they wouldn't reopen. So they needed to close the booth, they needed to do their job, I get it. But then they start looking at me like, yeah, that's a good place to cut the line, right in front of her. So she's been there for 3 hours and she's going home with nothing. At this point, I'm like, what am I gonna do? Am I gonna stay here for another 2 to 3 hours by myself, having not had lunch? What was I gonna do? And they start coming at me and they're like, okay, we're gonna cut the line there. And I was like, no. Yeah, that's not happening. They're coming over, like, making faces like, oh, we're gonna cut there. And this is the other loner that was in front of me, so I'm like, I stand next to her, I'm like, yeah, we're buddies. Like, I've been there for the last 3 hours. And they look at me, and they give me this look like, we know you don't know her. And then they go like, I am the last person that they can guarantee that I was getting a signed book. and my knees felt so weak at that moment. I was about to cry or faint. I didn't know. Yes, I was starving and dehydrated, but funnily enough, I think my body knew that it wasn't going to get any sustenance until I got back home. So I didn't feel a hint of hunger until I was literally at my doorstep, and then I was like, oh, I'm dying. A lot of people stay in line just hoping that they have time, and we just have 20 minutes and like 30 people in front of us. After 2 hours in line, I was like, well, I'm gonna take a picture because I've waited in line for 2 hours, so I am owed a picture. It was 10 minutes to 3. I was like, I'm not gonna ask her for a picture because that would be a move, honestly, having people not being able to even have one book signed. After I snuck up on this girl, on the loner who was in front of me, and they cut the line behind me, I was like, I am so sorry, but I've been waiting here for 3.5 hours and I was not getting cut. And her and the group in front of us, like, we laughed, we chatted for a bit. Honestly, I hadn't talked to anyone in 3 hours, so I don't know what came over me because I don't talk to strangers, but I was like, I need conversation, I need mental stimulation that's not the negative Nancy's behind me. So it was nice, and I chatted with them a little bit. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna faint. I'm this close to losing it. I'm getting all red again. We're finally close. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get it. My nerves were wrecked. Of course, I dropped my favorite book. This is a POV of you being my phone stuck in my waistband because I didn't feel like filming her, you know, like this, because it felt kind of rude. I had so many questions planned for her. I was like, yeah, so who's your favorite couple? Mine is Kai and Cinder. They're so cute, and I think it's such an improvement over Cinderella and Prince Charming. Oh, so which of your series would you rather be turned into like a TV or a movie adaptation? Rather have a TV or a movie adaptation. Which is your favorite POV to write from? Oh, which is your least favorite POV to write from? Of course, once I got there, I froze, and all I could think of to say was, thank you for staying a little bit longer.
Thank you so much for staying this long.
And she said, hola. So I was impressed. I was impressed that she took the time to say hola to me. And, you know, by this point, I felt a little bit dejected. Like, no questions were coming out of me. I knew she had no time. I was like, well, you're not even asking me anything while you're speed signing my books, okay? Boo-hoo. Boo you. And as I was about to be like, well, Marissa Meyer, you know, she asked her people if after me she could go sit on the grass because they were closing the booth and keep signing books for people. And there I was, like, after having just put my phone down, so I have no video evidence of this, I was like, what? You're nice, goddamn, you're cute, and you're nice, and you write well, like, goddamn, trifecta right there. Did it make those 3.5 hours and all that anxiety worth it? I don't know, but it did kind of lessen the sting of all my energy for the rest of the month having been spent on a random Saturday by 3 p.m. But honestly, I had an out-of-body experience, so I don't really remember what happened, and I just filmed her signing one of them. And then instead of staying and watching her leave, I was like, no, that's it. So I just kept walking. I found a patch of grass. I put everything on the ground. I was like, okay, time to look at these signatures. And I have a feeling, that at the beginning, when she was going slower and they didn't know that they were gonna have to hustle by the end, that she was writing something besides the name and her signature in the personalized book tone. But by the time I think she got halfway through, they were like, no, you have to speed through this, and she just wrote my name and signed it. So really, I could have done that. Like, the other ones are just signed, but one of them just has my name in black marker, and I could have done it. So at the end of the day, it's like, ooh. All this was a very stressful situation for me, as it would have been for, I think, anyone. Going there with my friend or my sister would have been better, and it just made me realize how stubborn I am, because I think a lot of people would have left. When I started filming this video 2 days ago, I had no clue that this is how it would end. But also, for those of you who are still here, I went back to the subway. I was like, I'm making my way back, and it took me so long. I live so far away from the center of Madrid that I just wanted to cry every time I had to transfer from one metro to the other. I was like, well, this is just eternal. I'm so tired that for 30 minutes I had my eyes closed in the subway. I've never done that before, but I was like this. I didn't want to get guilt tripped, I'm sorry, into anyone making me give them my seat. It's very rude of me, but there weren't any old people at that time, so I was just like... Then I got home, I told my parents the story after, of course, having already sent a huge audio message to my friends and having called my sister to tell her about it. So this is the 4th time today I'm telling the story, and I'm already so fed up with it. It feels like it happened to someone else. So that was my Marissa Meyer signing horror story. Please let me know if you liked it by giving this video a like. Comment down below if you've ever gone to a book signing by one of your favorite authors. And please let me know if there were positive experiences or more like the one I just had today. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already. I'm sure this video will make you want to subscribe. And click that bell button so you get notifications every time I post a new video. I post videos just like this, hopefully not every single Friday, and I guess I'll see you guys next time. Bye! The loner who was in front of me was friends and was chatting to the people who organized the whole thing. So when they came by and decided who the last person would be, they chose her because they knew her. So I couldn't have been placed at a better spot. Thank you, loner in front of me. I owe you my life.